Let's talk about some of the worst advice white-collar defendants receive in advance of a sentencing. Frankly, it's some of the horrific advice they also receive once they're on federal probation. Hi, everyone. Justin Paperny here today, Thursday, December 6th, 3:20 p.m. Excited to film this video. Before I get into it, if you're wondering why I'm wearing a jacket, it's like 53 degrees today in Los Angeles. I'm not used to cold weather like that, so I've been forced to wear a jacket all day, even though the heat is on. I'm also heading to Dallas on Sunday, then Knoxville and Nashville to see clients, and apparently it's quite cold in that part of the country, so I'm just getting warmed up. Also, before I get into the video, happy holidays to all of you. We celebrate Hanukkah in our family. I'm beginning to get some small gifts from my wonderful wife. In fact, one thing she got me was this selfie stick, which I haven't used yet, but apparently that video I filmed before I lectured at Georgetown, just holding my iPhone like right in front of me, she said it was like too close to the face. So apparently this will give me a little bit of distance. So if I do another video on the road, I may use this. So happy holidays to all of you, and I'm grateful for your time. To that end, I won't waste any more of your time. Let me get into the purpose of this video. Last Friday on a group coaching call, I discussed marketing and branding. White Collar Advice, we do group coaching calls once to twice a month on a variety of subjects. We have guest speakers. And last Friday, we talked branding and marketing. And I talked about the importance of maintaining a positive, ethical, transparent social media footprint online. LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and immediately some new clients and others who are coming into the White Collar Advice family interrupted me and said, well, wait a second. My lawyer told me a couple of things. One, that I shouldn't work while my case is playing out. And two, that I should totally remove myself online. I should totally shut down all of my LinkedIn and Facebook and all of these profiles. And I said, well, did you ask your lawyer why? And too often times the answer is no, I just did it. Where logically the question should be, walk me through the pros and cons of doing that. Walk me through the pros and cons of shutting down my whole presence online, and the only thing that people are going to be able to judge me by is my DOJ press release. Too often times we don't ask the appropriate follow-up question. Logically, you need to know what are the pros and cons. And too many defendants don't do that. So if your lawyer ever says to you, take down your social media, all of it, the question should be, what are the pros and cons? Why does that help me? Why does that hurt me? Now, if you're posting things that make you look like an imbecile, if you're critical of the government, I wrote about that in Lessons from Prison, somewhere around here, that a defendant was critical of the government online, the prosecutor, etc. Of course, that could hurt you. As I filmed in that video in front of Georgetown Law School, you are not Elon Musk. Even after Elon Musk got a sweetheart deal from the Securities and Exchange Commission where he scratched a check for $20 million, I think his post-offense conduct of mocking the SEC or even the prosecutor, you are not Elon Musk. You cannot do that. So I agree with a lawyer's view that a defendant should take down their stuff if they're going to say things that are inappropriate. That goes without saying. But if you are posting positive things, if you are building your reputation, if you are demonstrating value online, why would you want to take that down? And let's jump to why you're watching this video. You want the absolute best experience at sentencing, the shortest sentence. Or if you're on probation, you want ease from your probation officer, room to roam, and you want to get off probation early. So if that's the case, knowing the government simply judges by your plea agreement, what is the downside of having more positive things online? What is the downside, for example, if you do charity work of posting some of those videos to your Facebook page? I'm transparent. Find me on Facebook. I'd love to be friends with you. You'll see photos of my family, work that I do in the community, my public speaking career, etc. Why wouldn't you have the same thing? If you have hundreds of connections on LinkedIn, why wouldn't you be nurturing that network right now? If there's a chance you are going to go to federal prison and lose your license and have to start over, why wouldn't you be cultivating relationships on LinkedIn, posting things that are of value to you? I like the platform Quora. I am a writer. Quora is a great platform to answer questions. It doesn't have anything to do with prison. People frequently say to me, Justin, it is in your interest to talk about prison. Well, maybe, but when I began, I didn't talk about prison. I was trying to provide value. So you can go to Quora.com. Same process. Find what interests you. Answer questions. Develop a following. Build some value. It would seem illogical that a prosecutor, a probation officer, or judge may not Google you. Maybe not all of them, but I would bet some of them are going to Google you and look at what you have online. So you could have this little snippet this little period of your life where you made some out of character decisions that may send you to prison, and let them only have that to judge you by, like your plea agreement. Or you can be more proactive, and you can do things that frankly cost like no money. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, those are 4 of the top 10 websites in the whole world. So by virtue of creating a profile, those things should get you to the first page. Now, there are some things you cannot control. You cannot control a Department of Justice press release. I cannot control, from my experience, competitors writing anonymous reports about me. As many of you know, I'm suing them. I'm holding them accountable. I'm writing a book. I'm filming a video. In fact, in the book, I bought this book, Quotations from Abraham Lincoln, before my lecture at Georgetown. I'm opening the book up with a quote that Abraham Lincoln said that said, "Truth is generally the best vindication against slander," regardless if people say it's what they do. It's the evidence that you have. It's the IP addresses, the text messages, the confirmation, etc. So I say to all of you, you have evidence in your own life of good things that you have done. You have evidence in your own life of contributions you've made to your community. Why would you want to shut that down? So many of you may think, well, Justin, I can't disagree with my lawyer. Okay, you can ask your lawyer tougher questions. You can ask your lawyer, how does taking down my Facebook page that profiles my volunteer work in my interest, how does that help me at sentencing? Would it not be helpful if a probation officer saw that I'm like a good father who's proud to coach my kid's soccer team? That happened recently. Client, phenomenal coach. People in the community loved him. Took down the whole profile. I said, why would you do that? Well, it doesn't seem logical to me. Seems insane. What did he say? Well, my lawyer told me to do it. Instead, called a lawyer, had a discussion. You know what the lawyer kind of said? Yeah, I really didn't think it through. It's fine. Just don't post anything that makes you look stupid. Okay, well, he would never do that anyway. So let me say to all of you, some of the worst advice defendants receive is to totally remove your presence online. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of the content that you create. Be proud of your family. Be proud of the network that you have cultivated over a period of years. Use LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. Create a core profile. Please. They're going to Google you, the judge. They're going to read it. They're going to review it. And it makes you more productive throughout the day. Isn't that better than sitting at home trying to get off the grid, living with your head buried in the sand like an ostrich? The second part of advice is, I now get very warm wearing this coat. The second piece of advice that I think is awful is don't work. I have a few new clients, and ironically, all 3 of them said to me, my lawyer told me not to work. So how do you make money? They said, well, I don't know. I'm not allowed to work. So you might as well already be in prison because you're home, sitting at home all day, waiting for the phone to ring, wondering if there's an update from the government. You're not working, making any money. You're living in the land of the unknown. You might as well just be in jail and get credit for it and get started if you're not going to do anything productive. If you're not going to build a presence online, if you're not going to work to create a new business, if you're not going to generate any income, you're not getting any credit for time in jail, why not just get started? And they all say the same thing. Yeah, I already feel like I'm in jail. I'm just not getting credit. The land of the unknown is the worst, Justin. I know. I spent 3.5 years fighting my case. But what did I do during that period? I worked. And let me tell you why working helped me and why working would help all of you. I was able to begin creating a new record as a law-abiding citizen. Many of you, if you've pled guilty, there are 4 points Michael Santos taught me. 4 points you want to convey in a narrative, in a sentencing video, etc. 1, you identify with the victims. Okay. 2, you're remorseful. 3, you want to articulate what you've learned and what your plan is moving forward. And 4, express why you'll never be in that courtroom again. Well, one way that you can demonstrate that you'll never be in that courtroom again is by having a law-abiding career, demonstrating that you can build a record as a law-abiding citizen. Now, I did that for 3 years before my surrender to prison, selling high-end real estate at Sotheby's International Realty. It doesn't have to be real estate. It can be Uber. It can be launching a business. Regardless of the income, the money's great, but you've got to begin developing a new record as a law-abiding citizen. How can you ask a judge for leniency or a probation officer to let you off probation early if you haven't proved worthy of it, if you haven't created a new record? So let me wrap up with the 2 bits of advice that I think are horrific, that I think derailed the lives of white-collar defendants, that make the pain harder, the struggle harder than it should be, is 1, totally removing yourself online for fear of what people think, because somebody told you that you should get off the grid. Seems illogical to me if you're creating the right content. And 2, not working. Work. build your record online. Do it authentically. Do it ethically. Do it the right way. And not only will your time along the way be more productive leading up to sentencing, I believe it will help persuade a prosecutor or judge that you are worthy of leniency or mercy because you've earned it, rather than just talk about it. And that's how I'll close. Judge Boo in our video with Michael Santos. Judge Boo told Michael Santos, if you broke my window, don't tell me I'm sorry. How are you going to fix the window? If you owe restitution, how are you going to pay it back? You have to work. If you want to get a new job, how are you going to get it back? By delivering value and building your reputation. Turn your LinkedIn profile back on. Turn your Facebook page back on. Go on Instagram and Twitter and be proud of all that you have. And that's how I'm going to wrap up. To all of you, I wish you a wonderful holiday season. I know how tough this experience can be. It was December 15th, 2004 that I caught my case. So going on a long time now, nearly 14 years. And I remember the stress and heartache of Hanukkah and Christmas and wondering what would become of my life. And here I am on the other side, strong, happy, successful, but not without my share of issues that we all have to live through as a convicted felon, but we're a family. I hope we can get through it together. And to the extent that you find value in these videos, I'm happy, but implement it. It does nothing if you don't implement what I talk about. I'm just another talking head online. Go on with your day. Implement what I teach. You'll be further ahead and we can shorten your learning curve by months and maybe years. Again, have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye.